Imagine this. You are alone, completely alone. The sun is burning your skin. Your throat is so dry you cannot swallow, and your right arm, your dominant hand, the one you use for everything, is trapped beneath an 800-pound boulder. You have been here for 5 days. No one knows where you are. Your water is gone. Your food is gone. Your hope is almost gone. And then you look at the only tool you have left, a pocketknife. A small, dull pocketknife. What would you do? Would you wait? Would you pray? Would you accept that this is how your story ends? Or would you do the unthinkable? This is the true story of Aron Ralston, and what he did in that canyon will awaken something inside you that you did not know existed. Aron Ralston was not a normal person. At age 27, he was an experienced hiker, a climber, a skier, and an adventurer. He worked as a mechanical engineer, but his real life began on weekends when he disappeared into the wild places of the American West. He had climbed 59 of Colorado's tallest mountains. He had skied down dangerous slopes that most people would not dare to walk. He was fearless. Some would say too fearless. But Aron did not believe in fear. He believed in preparation. He believed in skill. He believed that if you were smart enough, strong enough, and brave enough, nature would respect you. He was wrong. On April 26, 2003, Aron drove his truck into the remote canyons of Utah. He did not tell anyone where he was going. He did not leave a note. He did not pack extra food or water. Why would he? This was just a day trip, a quick hike through Blue John Canyon, a beautiful but dangerous maze of red rock and narrow passages. He planned to be back before dinner. He would not see another human being for 6 days. The morning was perfect. Blue sky, warm sun, the kind of day that makes you feel invincible. Aron hiked fast. He moved through the canyon like water, climbing over rocks, squeezing through narrow gaps, laughing at the challenge. He passed 2 young women on the trail, Christy and Megan, and hiked with them for a while. They invited him to a party that evening. "Maybe I'll come," he said, "if I finish early." He never made it to that party. At around 2:30 in the afternoon, Aron reached a section of the canyon called the Slot, a deep, narrow crack in the earth, barely wider than his shoulders. The walls rose 100 feet above him. The floor was covered in loose stones. He climbed down a large boulder, using it like a step to lower himself into the slot below. But the boulder was not stable. As Aron put his weight on it, the massive rock shifted, it rolled, it fell, and in one terrible second it pinned his right hand and forearm against the canyon wall. The pain was instant, crushing, unimaginable. Aron screamed. He pushed against the boulder with his free hand. He kicked it with his legs. He used every muscle in his body. The boulder did not move. 800 pounds of solid rock held him like a vice. He was trapped. Aron was not a man who panicked. He took a breath. He assessed the situation. He was an engineer after all. Problems had solutions. This was just another problem. He tried to chip away at the rock with his pocketknife. The blade was too small. The rock was too hard. He tried to build a pulley system using his climbing ropes and carabiners. He rigged the ropes around a smaller rock above him, hoping to use it as a lever to lift the boulder. The smaller rock broke. He tried to dig beneath his arm, scraping away sand and gravel with his fingers. But the boulder was too heavy. It sank deeper as he dug. Hours passed. The sun moved across the sky. The canyon grew cold. Aron had one water bottle. He drank carefully, rationing each sip. He had 2 burritos. He ate half of one. He needed to make his supplies last. Surely someone would come. Surely those 2 women would report him missing. Surely his co-workers would notice he did not show up on Monday. He waited, no one came. The second day brought a new enemy, thirst. Aron's water was gone. His mouth was dry as paper. His lips cracked and bled. His urine, the only liquid his body could produce, was dark brown, a sign of severe dehydration. He began to hallucinate. He saw a party. He saw his friends. He saw himself walking free, laughing, drinking cold water. Then he woke up. The boulder was still there. The pain was still there. The canyon was silent. Aron tried something desperate. He tied a tourniquet around his arm using his climbing webbing. He took his pocket knife, the same dull tool he had used to chip at the rock, and he began to cut. He cut through the skin. He cut through the fat. He cut through the skin. He cut through the fat. He cut through the muscle. But he could not cut the bone. The pain was so intense that he blacked out. When he woke, his arm was bleeding, infected, swollen, and he was still trapped. The boulder had won. By the third day, Aron had accepted something terrible. He was going to die. He had not seen another person. No search helicopter had passed overhead. No voice had called his name. The canyon was too remote. The slot was too hidden. He used his video camera to record goodbye messages to his family. Mom, Dad, I love you. I'm sorry, I was stupid. I should have told someone where I was going. He carved his name into the canyon wall. He wrote the date. He wanted someone to know that he had been here, that he had fought. On the fourth day, something strange happened. Aron had a vision. In his dehydrated, half-conscious state, he saw a 3-year-old boy running across a sunlit field. The boy was happy, free, full of life, and Aron knew with absolute certainty that this boy was his future son, a son he would never meet if he gave up now. This vision changed everything. He was not fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for the life he had not yet lived, for the children he had not yet held, for the future that was waiting for him if he could find the strength to reach it. On the morning of the 5th day, Aron made his decision. He would cut off his own arm, not through the bone. He knew his knife could not do that, but through everything else, through the skin, the muscle, the tendons, the nerves, and then he would break the bones. He had no painkillers, no anesthesia, no help. He had a pocket knife, a broken carabiner to snap the bones, and a will that refused to die. He began at 9 o'clock in the morning. The first cut was the skin. He had already done this. He knew the pain. He pushed through it. Then the muscle. The knife was dull. He had to saw back and forth, again and again, feeling every fiber separate. The blood was everywhere. His head spun. He rested. He continued. Then the nerves. Aron later described this as the worst part, not because of pain, but because of the sensation. When he cut the main nerve, he felt an electric shock run through his entire body. His hand, the hand that was still trapped beneath the boulder, felt like it was being burned alive. He screamed until his throat bled, but he did not stop. Finally, after 1 hour of cutting, he reached the bones. 2 bones in his forearm, the radius and the ulna. He placed the broken carabiner against them. He leaned his body weight against them. Snap. The first bone broke. Snap. The second bone broke. Aron Ralston was free. But freedom was only the beginning. Aron was now alone in a remote canyon, bleeding heavily, missing his right arm, and still 8 miles from his truck. He wrapped the stump in a makeshift bandage. He used his climbing webbing as a tourniquet to slow the bleeding, and he began to rappel down the canyon wall one-handed, dizzy, losing blood with every movement. He hiked through the desert for 6 miles. He found a small pool of rainwater and drank like a man who had never tasted water before. He kept moving. Finally, After hours of walking, he saw something incredible. A family, a mother, a father, and their son hiking in the same remote canyon. They saw him. They ran to him. They called for help. A helicopter arrived. Aron was airlifted to a hospital. He had lost 40% of his blood. He was 24 hours from death, but he was alive. Aron Ralston survived. He wrote a book about his experience between a rock and a hard place. The title became a famous English expression. When we say someone is between a rock and a hard place, we mean they are trapped in a difficult situation with no easy choices. A film was made about his story, 127 Hours, directed by Danny Boyle, starring James Franco. It was nominated for 6 Academy Awards. Aron continued to climb mountains. He got married. He had that son he had seen in his vision, a little boy named Leo. And he never hiked alone again without telling someone exactly where he was going. Before we close, let's awaken the vocabulary that lived inside this story. Trapped, unable to move or escape. Aron was trapped beneath a boulder. Rationed to use something carefully so it lasts longer. Aron rationed his water. Dehydration, the dangerous condition of not having enough water in your body. Hallucinate, to see or hear things that are not real. Aron hallucinated because of dehydration. Tourniquet, a tight band used to stop bleeding from a wound. Tendons, strong tissues that connect muscles to bones. Nerves, the body's electrical system that carries messages between the brain and the rest of the body. Rappel, to descend a steep surface using a rope. Stomp, the remaining part of a limb after the rest has been removed. Between a rock and a hard place, an English idiom meaning a situation where you must choose between 2 difficult options. Now, try using one of these words in a sentence. Write it in the comments below. Practice is how English becomes part of you. Aron Ralston's story is not just about survival. It is about the moment when a human being discovers what they are truly capable of. It is about the choice between surrender and fight, between accepting the end and creating a new beginning. Every one of us has boulders in our lives, problems that feel too heavy to move, situations that trap us and tell us there is no way out, but there is always a way. Sometimes the way is painful. Sometimes it costs us something we thought we could never lose. Sometimes it requires us to do the unthinkable. But the alternative, giving up, is always worse. Just like Aron, you are stronger than you know. And just like Aron, you have a future waiting for you if you have the courage to reach for it. Every English word you learn is a tool in your pocket knife. Every story you hear is a map through the canyon. Every time you choose to keep going, you are choosing life. If Aron's story awakens something in you, hit that like button. Let this story travel further. Subscribe to Awakening Avenue for more stories that don't just teach English, they change how you see yourself. Drop a comment. What would you have done in Aron's position? Would you have waited? Or would you have cut? And if you want the vocabulary list from this video as a free PDF, let me know in the comments. I'll send the link to everyone who asks. Until next time, keep climbing, keep learning, and never let any boulder convince you that your story is over. This is Awakening Avenue, and your awakening starts now.